Hi everyone, it's TTL back with another rush kit for you, and today we're going to be taking a look at the X399 Gaming Pro carbon motherboard from MSI. Now we're going to whiz through it real quick because when we get inside the box there's only really a couple of things that you need to look at. You've got your cables and your backplate and SATA cables and stuff that are inside this. It's the normal tap that you'd normally get with the box. You do get an additional add-on network card that you can pop into one of the PCI Express slots, and as you can really see, it's just kind of like a mini SATA type thing, but it's if you need wireless. Now I think this is a great idea rather than it clustering up room on the rear I/O. The other thing that they do have is these, but I will cover those with you again in a second. And then the other one again is this, and I'm going to have to show you how to use this as well, just so that you've got a better idea. But other than that, it's just manuals, the usual kind of stickers and packs, and the driver's CD, so nothing particularly exciting. So look at the board itself. Now I want to go straight into the carbon covers. There are 3 of them. They can be a bit difficult to get off the first time. Once you've done it a few times, it's not too bad and they get a bit easier, a bit like many things. That's what she said, wink wink. But I did have to, the first couple of times, I did have to use a screwdriver to be able to kind of get them off. But they do, the board does come with a gold set and a silver set. So you can swap these out really easily to tailor to the use of your system. The other thing I want to cover, just again quickly, is this. And it's basically a fan mount. And it mounts up here with these standoffs. And you mount a fan to this on the board, and then you can either have it facing down over your sockets and your coolers and stuff, or you can have it round the back so it's blowing at the rather massive heatsink, which we'll cover in a second. Now what does worry me, and it will be something I cover in the main review, is this is what used to come with their high-end overclocking boards, which the carbon isn't at all. So it does make me wonder whether they're including this because there are some thermal issues, but that is something we will cover in the main review. So we do get down to the nitty gritty. Top left, you can see that we've got 2 8-pin powers to power the CPU. This is, as far as I've seen so far, it's almost normal. It's only the ASRock that's come with an 8 and a 4 rather than 2 8s that I've seen so far. But you'll see that there are no fan headers or anything over on this section. And when we come over to this side, you have one here and one here. There is nothing down this side at all. When we're just talking about fan headers, there are 3 down the bottom here, and there's another one here. Other things to go around the board that you'll find kind of interesting. We do have the power and the reset button. This is their kind of dial turn it overclock button. I've never been a fan of this on this board, any MSI boards, or to be honest with you, any boards. I mean, I think you could use it as a guide, but these are always kind of set up for the worst possible CPUs. So 9 times out of 10, or even 999 times out of 1,000, you'll be able to get your overclock dialed in with much lower volts, meaning much lower temperatures than using this. They always hate me saying it, but you know, it's just one of those things. Then we do have, thankfully, 2 USBs down the bottom. These are USB 2s. Lovely to see 2 of them on the boards because they're almost becoming a rarity, kind of the lesser spotted USB 2s recently. You do get a USB 3.1 external header there, and you've got 2 horizontal normal USB 3s there. You can see that the M.2s, you get 3 of them, and you've also got covers on all 3 as well. If you do want to use one of your, or you do want to use that wireless networking port, I would use one of these. I mean, you're probably going to have a graphics card in this one, so you're probably going to end up using it on that one. These all come from the PCI Express lanes on these, all come from up on the CPU. Those 2 PCI Express lanes actually come from the chipset, so if you did use it in that slot, then you wouldn't be interfering with any of your graphics card. Although with Threadripper, there is obviously an awful lot of PCI Express lanes, so it doesn't really matter too much. You can see here though that this heatsink is enormous. It's just a massive vertical tower, but as I've seen with a lot of the other Threadripper boards, they've normally got a big heatsink that comes over here, and part of me thinks that there might have been a plan for that. When you have a look, you can see how kind of it just looks like there is something missing. but there is no places on the PCB for you to have been able to screw anything in. So I don't know, but it's going to be this heatsink, and the fact they included that fan mount and everything, I'm going to have to go very careful with my thermal testing on this to see how it fares. But the fact that it is so tall means it's highly likely to be picking up. I have top case fans, and I expect a lot of you guys will as well. So that's going to be something that actually may aid that, where it is so much bigger. When we flick around to the other side of the board, there is a brace, and there is actually some thermal pads going on around the back as well. So this may help with lowering temperatures, but again, we will have to see. But that is our quick look. To be honest with you, I went into a lot of stuff I didn't think I wanted to, but that was our quick look. The only other thing is, and oh, it is a big thing as well, because we do have CMOS clear and the BIOS flashback button, but there are an awful lot of USB connections. Love seeing a load of those. PS2 still as well. USB 3.1 A and C, gigabit Ethernet. Your audio from down here, Audio Boost 6 they're calling it. You can see all the caps hanging out the bottom, but they're all gold plated connectors, and you've got the infrared out, SPDIF or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know I'm getting terrible today. It's where I'm trying to rush. Optical, there's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, so there is our quick look at the X399 board. I am just waiting on a processor to come from AMD, a Retail X1950X, because I've got an engineering and they've asked me to swap them round. So that's been my delay, but that's also why I gave you a quick skim over of the board to whet your appetite, and you'll know that the full review will be going live on the main OC3D TV channel as soon as I can possibly find the time to get all the testing on these boards done.